On the house shell, they're the heroes for. In this day and age, who could ask for more?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That was my jam back in the day. That was my jam. Little Mad Black used to do the Running Man to that song. Oh, yeah. But here I am, folks. This is your brother, Mad Black, the most dangerous and the most toxic black man on the internet. The brother who told you not to go on those balloon popping shows, but you did it anyway. And now your ass has been exposed as a creep and a weirdo. And I am black up in your face again with some more pro-black commentary. So, I have to talk about this now. I've been trying to avoid it because it's a silly topic to begin with, but there are some things that young black men need to be made aware of because of this video. So, for those who don't know, there was this black man named Aaron who appeared on one of these red balloon popping dating shows. And the point of these shows, if you haven't seen them before, is to, the contestant will go on there and there'll be like a line of women, and if the women all have red balloons, and if they don't want to date this man or they don't want to go out with them, they'll pop their red balloon and then they'll give the reasons why they don't want to go out with this person. Okay, but they reversed it. Sometimes they'll have a female and a line of guys, and these shows have become extremely popular over the last year or so. I've noticed they've been popping up all over social media, and different people do different versions of it. And in my opinion, they've gotten ridiculous. I think people pay way too much attention to them, or at least, I don't mind people watching dating shows or watching this type of frivolous entertainment, but people put too much stock in them. Like, black people get extremely emotional over these shows, both black men and black women. And this whole situation looks really bad on black males, and I'm going to explain that as we go along in this video. So this guy, Aaron, he went on to one of these shows, and as the females started popping their balloons and they started explaining why they didn't want to date him, he would kind of fire back with some very sarcastic or smart remarks about why he didn't want to date them either. Basically, I didn't like you anyway, so I'm glad you popped your balloon. Stuff like that, right? And yes, I watched the whole thing, so for all you guys out there that will come to this channel and say, well, those women were disrespectful to him, so he was getting back at. Stop it. I don't want to hear that shit, okay? Because this is where the problem starts, all right? The fact that you have a adult black male who has a problem with being rejected is an issue. Because the truth of the matter is, I watched the whole thing, and for the most part, most of those women, all they said was, you're not my type, so I didn't want to continue on with the trying to date you. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay? I know this is a shock to you fools out there who follow these Minstrelsphere F-boys and who follow people like Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels and whatnot, but there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? That's just what life is. When you go into certain situations, not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to think that they're your type. So just let it go. If someone doesn't want to date you, they're saving you the trouble by letting you know right off the top. So I even when I was younger, I never got mad at rejection because it's like, well, maybe this person's not for me, right? So it's not that big of a deal if someone rejects you, and you getting bent out of shape like this goofy fool here, Mr. Aaron, and trying to fire back at the person. It's like he made himself look even more lame and more stupid by doing that, and just making himself look extremely emotional. And some of you Negroes are just like that. So a lot of you started to identify with this buffoon here. And let me ask you this, for those who think this is okay to get all bent out of shape about rejection like this from a woman. When you go on a job interview and that job says, well, you know what, I don't think you'll be a good fit for this job, do you get bent out of shape and emotional and start cursing out the HR person or sending them emails or telling them that they're ugly or something like that, or say, like, hell, I didn't want to work here anyway. You start doing stuff like that? No. At least I would hope you don't. I know generations are different in how they act and react to things, but I would hope you don't act like that. But, when you are in a situation where you may face some sort of rejection, just sort of take that and move on. As a man, you should not be getting so emotionally invested that if you get all bent out of shape over something like that. So that's strike number one right there for Aaron. So, according to him, because he answered back at these women on this show the way that he did, he claimed that black women who watched the show called his job and got him fired from his job. So he was a plumber and a blue collar worker. He was working for this plumbing company, and he said that they called his job and wound up getting him fired. He said over like 500 people called and he lost his job. So in response to that, he started a GoFundMe, and a lot of black men online decided to send money to him. So a lot of black men, we understand the situation and how hard it is for a black man when a black man loses their job. So out of just, solidarity, black men were trying to show their support by sending him some money, right? And come to find out that, this clown here, Mr. Aaron, he's got a bunch of ex-girlfriends who have exposed him as an asshole, as a stalker, as abusive. He's been locked up before for fraud and all types of other gutter crimes. He's someone who has been known to be a scam artist. So basically, he took advantage of this gender war and black males' feelings towards being rejected by a female, or especially a black female, and he used that to get money out of black men, basically. And there's videos of this fool after the fact throwing his money up in the air at the club and saying that he want to get some money for his birthday and whatnot, because I think GoFundMe froze his funds because they found out he was a fraud and a liar. And, it's come even more to light that the reason he lost his job had nothing to do with women calling and getting him fired. It probably had something to do with him stalking his ex-girlfriend. Like a lot of people have hypothesized and done some research and found that he probably got fired even before he was on that Red Balloon dating show. So before that episode even aired, he had already been fired. And this is one of the things he used to try to hustle money out of black people, especially black males. So when I see stuff like this, what it brings to my attention is that there are a lot of black people and a lot of black males who are just as susceptible to scam artists when it comes to this gender war thing. So, how a lot of black women fell for the okie doke with the brick lady, when the brick lady showed up and claimed that some black man hit her upside the head with a brick because she wouldn't give up her phone number. And then she had like that fake swelling in her face and whatnot at the hospital. Black women sent her a whole bunch of money, and she basically walked off with that money. And it came to light that she had scammed a whole bunch of people before, run the same scam before, and this was just the latest version of the same scam. Well, now it's starting to come out with this fool here, Mr. Aaron the plumber. He basically ran a scam on black males from the opposite side of the gender war. And a lot of black males fell for it. And the sad thing is, even now with all this dude's F-boy and pookie tendencies being shown out here, I still see a lot of black males defending him. And, still making it seem like it's okay for him, or he almost like putting him up on a pedestal because he pushed back against these black women rejecting him on a dating show, which is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like I said before, as a man, you should not be acting like that. As a man, you should have more confidence within yourself. If you can't go on a dating show or be in the dating market and handle rejection, you don't need to be dating in the first place. Don't do it if you can't take it. Okay? Because rejection is going to happen. As a man, you should know this, especially by the time you get to be an adult. You should know this already. You should have gone through this type of rejection already by the time you've been through middle school and high school and college, that as an adult, being rejected should just be like water off a duck's back to you as a man at this point. Okay? It's not that big of a deal. You don't need to get mad at the girl because she said no, because she doesn't want to give you her number. You don't have to curse her out. You don't have to be rude. It doesn't matter. You know how many women there are to every man out there? Go find you another one. Stop being so emotional and overreacting about stuff like this. It's not that big of a deal. Okay? Stop getting your little feelings hurt and your little ego crushed. I understand you have emotions. I understand you have feelings just like everybody else. But like something like that should not irk you to that point where you start acting like a little punk, which is how Aaron acts. And even, in my opinion, he wants to be famous so damn bad. Okay? Being just a plumber and being a blue collar worker, that's not enough for him. Even with that, he was trying to like overcompensate and show out for these women, talking about I can get a hold of $100,000 out of my bank account. Can you do that? Like, who cares, Negro? If he had any type of pride in his profession as a plumber, because that's actually a really great profession. No matter what people might say about it, being a plumber is something to be proud of. Like, I just got some plumbing work done on my house. And I spent the grip. I'm not going to get into the figures of what I spent, but I'll just say this. I had to have the pipes dug up in my front yard, and I had to have the pipes replaced in my basement. That was 2 days worth of work and 2 different teams. They had to bring construction vehicles and everything else, so they had to be certified and all that other stuff, and how to cut trees and stuff because they had to cut roots out of the ground for the pipes. So basically, I spent the grip. I spent a lot of money just getting this stuff fixed, right? So you can make a great amount of money as a plumber if you really know your trade and really know what you're doing, right? So it encompasses a lot of other skills as well. Like I said, running construction vehicles and removing concrete and removing roots and branches and stuff like that. So a lot of different disciplines can go into plumbing, right? So this is something that is a great profession, and I would never besmirch anyone who does that for a living. That's a great thing to do. But this fool has no respect for his profession because he wants to be greater than just being a plumber, okay? That's why he did all that goofy shit on that dating show. That's why when people were making fun of him saying he looked like a Ninja Turtle, he showed up the next day in a Ninja Turtle outfit on social media. He likes to perform on social media. He likes to appear on different social media programs, right? So he's someone that is obsessed with fame and clout. He has no respect for his profession. If he had just stayed on being a plumber and decided to say to hell with this other nonsense, he could have a lot more money, maybe even start his own plumbing company, and he can have the choice of any woman he wants. He doesn't need to go on a stupid-ass dating show where you're popping a balloon to pick a woman, right? That's if he was serious about his profession, which he is not, okay? I can just tell by the way he's acting. Being a plumber is not good enough for this Negro, when anyone else who had that type of skill would jump at that type of trade and adore it and love it and appreciate what they're doing, right? But this fool doesn't. So, for a lot of these guys out here who support him, they have shown that they have a lot of very similar mentality to him, okay? A lot of them are undercover F-boys just like he is, because they can't take rejection and they can't take criticism, right? So a lot of them have, a lot of emotional issues that they don't deal with themselves, and they put it all on women. And that's why they love this whole F-boy version of the red pill, because it just allows them to sit back and watch men like Fresh and Fit yell at girls for doing OnlyFans or whatever nonsense, right? Or, people like Kevin Samuels when he puts down black women who have these ridiculous dating standards. They love that. That's why they followed him in the first place. It had nothing to do with him saving the black community or whatever nonsense you guys were trying to pass off to me a few weeks ago. I read some of those comments and I was just sitting here laughing my ass off at some of the nonsense that you guys thought that was the legacy of Kevin Samuels. But, you can't tell dumb Negroes anything, all right? But let me focus on this and just and tie this all together and just say, look, don't become what you criticize. If you're going to criticize black women for being dumb enough and having so much hate for black males that they would give money to the brick lady or any other black female who runs the hustle, or talking about I'm being abused or being attacked by black men, so let me give this black woman money, you can't do the same thing, okay? If you're going to be critical of those types of women, and I've seen so many Negroes say that black women never apologize for the brick lady, well, are you guys going to apologize for Aaron, the plumber? Are you going to apologize for Mr. Ninja Turtle here? And let me say this about the whole Ninja Turtle thing. Stop comparing him to a Ninja Turtle, okay? Especially, like, I saw someone, they colored him purple. So I was like, don't diss my boy Donatello like that, okay? Stop comparing him to the smartest Ninja Turtle, because obviously this Negro, there's nothing smart about him whatsoever. He's a dumbass. I can see that just from the way he acts on social media, all right? He's definitely not the smartest Ninja Turtle. He's not the dumbest Ninja Turtle. Mentally, he's more like Rocksteady and Bebop. Just a muscle-bound buffoon, okay? And not too bright at all. He's more like those two idiots. So, you folks can let me know how you feel about this in the comments section. I'd like to hear what you have to say about this whole situation. And once again, black men, don't fall into these traps. This is why I say the gender war is so damn dangerous, because people have these emotional responses to want to attack, either side of the gender war. All Negroes had to see from Aaron was that he was pushing back against these black women who were rejecting him, and they jumped on board to support his dumb ass. No matter, didn't look to see what his character was, didn't look to see what his past was, didn't even try to figure out if this dude was even on the up and up or not. But when black women were doing that for the brick lady, you guys were researching her background and finding out just what type of a fraud she was. You need to have the same discernment for these black males as well. Don't just support them because you want to emotionally identify and commiserate with his F-boy buck dancing nature. Anyway, this is Mad Black, and I will be back with my foot on the devil's back.